There was a great session by our Finance Minister, Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman. I hope all of you enjoyed that. Now I would welcome Mr. Milind Kulkarni, who is founder and CEO of FinIQ. FinIQ is the world's #1 trading platform for OTC derivatives and structured products. FinIQ is our title sponsor for second FinTech Summit that is organized by IIT Bombay. As a key speaker, Milind will share his opinion about the ideas of flexible financial products, and that too with multi-dealer pricing to ensure how can a customer get best pricing and best product at the same time. Milind, over to you.
Hi everyone. Thank you, ma'am, Nirmala Sitharaman, for your inspirational words. And thank you, IIT Bombay, for hosting us for this wonderful event. Yeah, my name is Milind Kulkarni. I am representing FinIQ, which is a Singapore-started India-based fintech. It's a global markets, capital market kind of fintech, and we are present in 11 countries worldwide. Yeah, so I'm going to share my PPT in a second, and we'll get started. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, sure. Yeah. Hi. So today's topic is FinIQ's experience with platforms for complex global products, best execution in OTC world, and bringing in the global markets perspective to India. Yeah. I would like to start with recent news, which was literally 2 days back, 9th of March. If you see here, HSBC launches online trading for structured products. So this is making use of their FinIQ platform. Yeah. So HSBC Global Private Bank, they are launching a direct dealing kind of a platform where the clients themselves can structure their equity linked packages, OTC derivatives, and they can trade. Yeah. So this is something that is happening in the Western markets. Okay. Okay. And one thing I want to say, barrier to entry to these products is a big thing. Yeah. Barrier to entry to these products is a major factor, which actually stops majority of the IT firms to get into this area. So we are going to understand exactly what are the parameters, what are the reasons for which getting such platforms into market becomes a little bit difficult as compared to, say, consumer finance, payments, transactions, etc. Yeah. So the first factor here is tailor-made for individual clients. See, the metadata and the very structure of this financial contract required by each client itself can be dynamic and difficult to automate. So these products, they are very personalized, they are very configured, customized. So you can't possibly have a ready-made system that you would have for bonds or for an exchange or for stocks or funds or insurance used for such products. Yeah. So here, to solve this problem, you need to build a framework that is LCNC style. Yeah. LCNC stands for low code, no code. So these are toolkits. This is a framework which actually allows you to define products on the fly. So here it allows you to have new values, new parameters without needing any software change. Now, what we did, so we spent around 5 years in building this toolkit. We call it UCP, or user configured products. Yeah. So that allows exclusively solely configuration based implementation of any product and any workflow. So you can create any insurance link product, FX link, equity link, fixed income link, credit link, all by yourself without having to rely on the vendor. Yeah. So you don't have to program. So that solves the first problem, which is managing the tailor-made instruments. Yeah. Now, the second challenge is best price guarantee. A single bank giving its own quote may not translate to the best possible quote. Yeah. Opportunity loss claims are likely due to non-best pricing being offered. So if you are shopping with a single bank and that is the only bank you know, and they quote you, so their quote potentially cannot be the best quote. There could be 7 or 8 or 9 more banks which would give you price better than your own bank. So what do you need? How do you solve this? So you need to establish a liquidity network or a supplier network allowing live tradable quotes from leading investment banks, market makers, and trading venues. Now, what did we do? So over the last 6 years, FinIQ partnered with 25 leading banks and venues worldwide to create was only best price platform for cross-asset solutions. Yeah, by cross-asset, I mean foreign exchange derivatives, fixed income, equity derivatives, and most importantly, structured products. Yeah, so there are platforms around the world only for FX, only for equity derivatives, only for FX derivatives. But there is no platform like FinIQ, which allows you to do all asset classes in the same platform, that too with best price guaranteed execution. Yeah. So that is two considerations, two parameters we addressed: the tailor-made products and the best price requirement. Yeah. Now the third requirement, which is suitability and compliance. So suitability and compliance is a must thing. So client suitability and regulatory compliance, if not adhered to, may lead to potential legal risks and mis-selling claims. Okay, so how do you address this? So you need to accommodate all possible validation rules in most parametric manner, not losing time in software change. Yeah, so you can't be having a new rule introduced by the central banks and then you take a few months to implement it. So typically that would mean you are in a breach, or you have to forego your license, or you have to run kind of a risk, you have to take dispensation. So time to market is a big thing in today's world. So if you can't adhere to your regulations, your internal, external suitability rules, you practically cannot offer that product. Now, what did we do? So post 2008 global financial crisis, extremely tough compliance rules were mandated, which gave FinIQ unmatched insight and helped us build our pre and post trade functionality. So we had lots of clients. Yeah. So in 2009, 10, 11, as the regulations kept on coming, we had to accommodate. So we accommodated around 50 different rules. Yeah, all using parameterized UCP framework. And today, if there is a new compliance or suitability rule, we can simply turn on, turn off something that exists or configure something new. So that is the third factor. So tailor-made products, best price guarantee, and suitability compliance requirements. Yeah. So now you have overcome these three challenges. The next is probably the most important one. Okay. So the next one is need to distribute it to retail. Now, if you have invested so much in having this multiple banks on your panel, all the regulations matched, products are being tailor-made, you can do combinations, and then if you roll out only to handful of customers, yeah, you only have 9,000 clients or 10,000 clients, yeah. So it doesn't do justice to your infrastructure. And secondly, you are letting go a huge opportunity to offer these products to the tier 2 clients. So what you are offering to ultra high net worth individuals, you could offer to HNIs. What you are offering to HNIs, you could offer it to mass affluence. Whatever you are offering to mass affluence, now we can offer it to mass market. Yeah. But what is stopping you from doing that? So simplified user interfaces that suit each user profile and workflow. So whether it's B2B, B2C, B2B2C, yeah, you have to cater to all of them. Smart pricers and solvers is a necessity. You should be able to solve things, price things, work out backwards. You give your budget and the product is constructed based on your parameters, constraints. Yeah. So you have to have simplified user interfaces where you are not showing those 35 different fields that make the structure or the product. You have to show something like 3 or 4 primary things, lead the client to the ultimate complexity with all kinds of what if analysis, simulations, these disclosures, term sheets, documents, etc., etc. Yeah. So selling complex products is an art. Yeah. You can't just keep the entire thing in front of the client. It's very intimidating. Yeah. But with technology, you could build those journeys and you could make it as simple as buying a bond or a mutual fund. Okay. Now, what did we do? So FinIQ built both API as well as GUI based dealing tools that power Angular, React, .NET, email, Excel, iPhone, Android apps, effectively allowing even the end client to deal directly. Yeah. And that's what we saw in the HSBC Global Private Bank press release, that the end client can self-construct or self-direct his own product and trading decision. Yeah. So this is how this entire barrier to entry, all these constraints were overcome by FinIQ in last many years. Yeah. And we have reached to a stage where we can probably claim that complexity, if it is addressed, if you solve complex problems, they are far more rewarding than solving simpler problems. Yeah, you are more sticky. Your solution is more recognized, and there are various other benefits. Yeah. So now few facts and figures about FinIQ. So wide array of products. So we offer things like foreign exchange, spot, forward, swaps, NDF, options, strategies, target redemptions, accumulators, structured notes, stocks, simple shares, interest rate swaps, CDS, bonds, bills, mutual funds, insurance, Lombard credit, so on and so forth. In terms of price provider panel, made up of leading IPs. So this is what I mentioned earlier, the best execution. So only if you have connectivity to banks, you can get the best price. Yeah, otherwise you get only one price at a time. So we are linked with Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, Citibank, RBS, RBC, HSBC, Barclays, and various other banks. We offer end-to-end functionality. So again, complex products, if you just automate the sales process, it is not adequate. You have to automate risk, documentation, and almost every single thing. Yeah. If any of these processes is not automated, is as good as nothing is automated. So that is something that we have to remember in the context of complex products. So end-to-end functionality, request for code, order management, trade execution, documentation, valuation, settlements, post-trade lifecycle, accounting, reporting. Yeah. So all of it has to be done in a very, very specific manner pertaining to that particular product. You cannot approximate, you cannot model it as a bond or mock it as a security. You can't do that. You have to handle it the way it is. So end-to-end functionality. Again, it takes years and years. So you have to have clients who give you insights, and that is kind of worked in our favor. Yeah. So we have 50 clients. We have exactly 50 clients worldwide, actually. So the first client we signed was in Singapore in 2003. Then we added leading banks from Hong Kong, Taiwan, Macau, Switzerland, Germany, US, Canada, UK, Spain, Australia, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, UAE. And in 2022, we signed our first client here in India. So we signed up with Kotak for retail bonds. And then we signed with another broker for pure wealth and stock trading. Okay, so coming to some kind of a recognition. So we hold the world record for trading the largest platform traded volume for complex products. So last year we clocked $60 billion of volume. This was across 20 different buy-side banks, wealth managers, and they traded with around 15 different sell-side banks. So you have 20 buy-side banks, distributors, wealth managers, sourcing products from 15 different liquidity providers or the sellers, manufacturers, and they all transacted through FinIQ, and the notional was around 60 billion. One must remember a specialty of these products. These products being complex products, they usually fetch anywhere between 1% to 3% commission, sales commission. So unlike foreign exchange, spot forward or stocks, where the brokerage commissions are very thin, these products, they earn you 1% almost guaranteed. So that is the beauty of this. And these products are probably concentrated only two centers, Singapore and Hong Kong worldwide. There's of course business in Switzerland or UK, but most of it is in Singapore and Hong Kong. Singapore and Hong Kong are on the forefront of the wealth revolution. So FinIQ is a global markets fintech, owned by Indians, managed by Indians, managed from India. So we are owned by Indians, managed by Indians, managed from India. So I'm going to connect it to my next theme, which is the next slide, which is India. Okay, now how do we link it back to what we have seen so far? Now there's a news I Googled up and I just got this UBS thing. So UBS opens its 5th office in India, close to 1,000 staff recruited. Now you see UBS has 5 offices in India. I don't think they have 5 offices anywhere outside Switzerland. Not in US, UK, Japan, Singapore. So they have 5 in India. Now you would have JP Morgan having 5, Goldman Sachs 5, everybody, Nomura, Barclays. So you have so many of these banks who are present in India, making up lakhs and lakhs of professionals working from them. So there lies the magic. There lies the magic. Now what is it? Now global banks have moved majority of their IT activities to India, leaving behind very low critical mass across their global offices. limiting capabilities to innovate from those locations. Okay. Now, this was not the case 2 decades ago, when the majority of the global financial market tech skills were concentrated in either London, Paris, Zurich, Geneva, or New York. Yeah. Now, it is imperative the next global market tech innovation should come from India, and we can make it happen. Okay. Now, there remains one choice. One thing needs to be seen, that is whether it is done by an Indian name or a global name. So, which means the innovation comes from India, but it comes from Bloomberg India or Reuters India or Citibank India, or it can come from a firm which is founded in Bangalore or Pune or in Mumbai. So it can be an Indian name or a global name, but it has to come from India because there is hardly anything left in terms of concentration of brains outside India. Yeah. So I want to organize this in 3 parts, this problem or this model. First is the Indian products, present and future. So Indian products essentially made by Indian brains from India. So the timeline we give it is 2020 to 2050. The products are homegrown. Okay. The IP is all in-house, India-centric, based on Indian market local needs and retail-centric. So mutual funds, insurance or payments. So it's a stabilized IP, stabilized products, and mainly implementations are going on right now. Yeah. And these are all developed by Indian firms. Now, number 2 is the global products. Okay. Now, let's give a timeline of 1990 to 25 because this is where I kind of read it. So these products are made by international and Indian brains worldwide. So when these products were being made in whichever places, whether it's Philadelphia or in Oxford or in Paris, a lot of these people who made this possible, they were all Indians, but located there. Okay, so these are internationally evolved IPs based on needs from major global centers such as Tokyo, Japanese banks, or from Brazil, or from Swiss banks in Zurich, so on and so forth. Yeah. So IP was built long back. Those who follow capital markets industry, they know bulk of this innovation happened in 1995 to 2000. So most of the systems are now in legacy stage. Many are in end of life in most cases. The systems are so complex that you dare not to rewrite them. So you don't change the framework, you just leave it as it is, yeah, because your entire trading floor is using that system. So not many dare to replace this, and these are all developed by Western firms. Now comes the opportunity area. Okay, so number 3, global products. So that's the future perspective from the year 2025 to 2050. Now, these products can be made by Indian brains from India in India. Okay, so you typically would re-engineer from the existing platforms, but implement it 10 times better because now you have better frameworks, better understanding of workflow. You know what is B2B, B2C. You have mobile apps. You have APIs. It's more scalable. You can go all the way to mass affluence. So the opportunities that did not exist 20 years back when these systems were made, and they were kind of forced to operate under the retail circumstances just by putting more hardware, that is not there. If you re-engineer, rewrite it, make it fresh, it is going to be lasting for next 30 years. So it's a fresh opportunity. It's an opportunity out of complexity. As I made a claim, any opportunity that arises out of complexity, it lasts longer. Now we need to accelerate. Now, what is the strength? What is our advantage? Our advantage is hundreds of thousands of IT professionals who now have exposure to global markets sitting here in India. So Pune is like mini Zurich, Mumbai is like maybe mini Frankfurt, Gurgaon is like mini Japan. Every city is now representing a global bank in terms of 10,000, 20,000 headcount. There are people who understand the regulations in Canada, in Brazil, they understand insurance selling models in Europe. So there is a lot of insight that has been gained through this relationship with the Western markets, but business being transacted, managed, supported from here in India. So only thing that we lack in India is the client contact. So we don't get to go to places like in Singapore, you would just walk down the street in Raffles Place or in Hong Kong Central or Canary Wharf, you meet 3 or 4 clients and you have a direct contact. So that is kind of missing, but then there lies the next thing. So government is bringing in the gift city. Gift city is going to give us that access. So it's a step in the right direction and at the right time. So possibly it will allow complex products on India's shore initially to a limited class of investors. Like Hong Kong, they do only with professional investors. Singapore, they do with accredited investors. So even though in Singapore, Hong Kong, all these products are allowed, they are not allowed for everyone. They are allowed only for the AIPI kind of clients. Yeah. So, that's how they ring fence the risk. So giving our bankers actual client facing exposure, grooming them to compete with the bankers from Singapore and Hong Kong. So that's how the financial and IT hub. So the IT part is already happened through our UBS and Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan presence here in India, creating lots and lots of skilled brains, as well as people returning from the West, and the client facing knowledge that was kind of lacking, that is also going to come through the Gift City route. Yeah. So I think it's all set for the next innovation coming from India. And I would like to stop here. And probably any questions you could post it, yeah, on text. Once again, thank you. And it was really a pleasure to have this conversation and have it exactly after Ma'am Sitharaman's conversation. Yeah. Thank you once again.
Evolution of digitalization of trading in capital markets industry can be understood by these phases. Both simple and complex products followed voice trading. Simple products became electronically traded in 2005, whereas complex products became electronically traded in 2020. FinIQ turned opportunity out of complexity. FinIQ is a global leader in capital markets technology and financial product distribution space. We cater to price discovery, order management, best execution, compliance, suitability, documentation, wealth management, custodian, statements, valuation and post-trade lifecycle requirements of over 50 financial institutions. Our platform is truly cross-asset and supports 12 major asset classes including derivatives, structured products, swaps, funds, bonds, cash equity, cash FX, and insurance. It provides extensive connectivity with 25 banks on our liquidity panel. We are the industry standard with 15,000 bankers across 21 countries using our platform to electronically trade financial instruments. FinIQ holds the world record for multi-dealer platform traded volumes, which crossed $60 billion last year, which was for electronic dealing of some of the most complex structured and OTC products. Technology of yesterday could only cater to B2B for automation of financial products distribution. E-commerce apps revolutionized various other distribution models, resulting into democratization of these products. FinIQ took complex end of capital market spectrum and catered to the new distribution models. Every market participant, regardless of net worth, can now access same product on equal terms. Our platform provides right mix of in-house prices and best execution via single dealer and multi-dealer network.